This is just a reminder that you will be receiving a copy of the slideshow and a copy of this link to the recording that we're going to make today for our webinar on preparing students for the ACT. I do want to draw your attention to the questions box in your control panel. You are more than welcome to type in any questions you may have as we go through the presentation. You can type them in that box, and if I can at the moment, I will try to answer your question. If not, I will get to it at the end of the session. I will stick around after the presentation to answer any questions any of you may have, and then later this afternoon you will receive the copy of the slideshow as well as the link to the video. Okay, the presentation is only a few slides and it's mainly screen grabs because I will be doing a live demo for you and I can show you different pieces. All right, so the features to be highlighted in the demo, I'm going to show you some full-length creative practice tests we have for the ACT. I'm going to show you the composite scores that our site will generate, how you can get composite scores by domain. There is a timing option that students can initiate when they begin a test. I'm going to show you some teacher resources as well as some student resources. So as a teacher, and up here at the top you'll see Felicia Zorn, teacher, you can go in and create an assignment and you would just type in the name, you would choose test, and then you would choose which test you would like to use. So I chose ACT English and then I chose a full test, and then you're going to see these 5 created tests that we have. And these are full-length created practice tests that we have made for you that you can administer to your students to practice. This is a student's result page. You can now see that I'm logged in as Julio Jones. His composite score for this test was a 30. So after he took the test, instead of giving him a grade percentage, we gave him what his composite would be. So he would have made a 30 on the ACT English portion. You can also see that we do offer composite score by domain, so the students can go in and start seeing which domains they need to start focusing their learning. So with Julio, I would probably tell him to start with sentence structure and formation, and then of course move on to punctuation conventions. And so we can see kind of the breakdown of where our students' strengths and weaknesses are. I'm still at this point logged in as a student, and this is when I've assigned the ACT English Test 1. When the student goes to take it, they have the option to set a time limit of 45 minutes, and it's different for each test. So I think for the science portion, it's only 35 minutes, so that it does give them that idea of pacing when they're getting ready to actually take the ACT. And now I'm going to show you where students can go in and work on practice for themselves. So again, I'm still logged in as a student. They would go up to the SAT, ACT Work Keys tab, and they would scroll down to whichever ACT test they'd like to work in. And I chose ACT English. And this is going to list all of the domains and the standards for the ACT. So you'll see that the first one here is delete irrelevant. Every student, after they've been practicing on the site, will have dot colors for each of these dot ranks. A gray just means there's no data. This yellow means median accuracy. So this would be a standard he would want to work on. So when you click directly on the standard, a drop-down box will appear, and these are resources available for practice. And again, that dot color is based on mastery. So the student can work through videos, performance tasks, vocabulary, and random multiple choice questions for that standard. And so this is how students can self-direct themselves to practice with the standards they need the most help with. So now I'm going to show you a demo. So this is me logged in as a teacher. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you how to make one of those pre-made tests. So you would go to your assignments tab, create new assignment, choose your class, give it a title. So I'm going to call this ACT Science Practice Test 1. Again, I'm going to choose practice, or I'm sorry, I'm going to choose test. And this time I'm going to choose ACT Science. And for the type, I'm going to choose a full test. And here are those 5 choices that are going to come up for me. So I'm going to choose full test 1, click on continue, and then you need to choose your start and end date. All of our end dates are soft end dates, so even if I make the end date for 1/31, students can can work on assignments that are past due for up to 2 months. If you don't want them to work on it anymore, then you have to go into your assignment tab and deactivate it, and we have put that here as a disclaimer. And if you put a date in the future, students won't be able to see the assignment until the day of. And then we have some different settings that you can decide if they're appropriate for your class. And we're going to go ahead and save the assignment. So when I go back to my home page and go to my assignments, here is my ACT Science Practice Test 1. So now I'm going to show you what this looks like for students. So I'm going to go to my home page. I'm going to go to my test prep class, click on the gear icon, and this is where you can find your students. I'm going to log in as one of my students. I'm going to log in as Johnny Snow. He has a lot of assignments. I'm going to sort them by newest so that my test pops up first. I'm going to begin my ACT Science Practice Test 1. And you'll see here, before it loads, that time limit option will populate. So I do want to have a 35-minute time. I'm going to load the test. And here you can see the question options. While I have you on this screen, I'm going to show you some of the features we have on our site. We have a highlighter feature where students can go in and highlight the text. Also, when a student hovers over any answer choices, you'll see that eliminate is an option, and it will strike through that answer choice, and you can also reactivate to take the line out. But if you have students who like to mark on their test, you can show them this is an option for them. So what we're going to do right now is I'm just going to go through and just randomly select answers, so don't judge my science skills by my answer choices. I'm just going to show you what a results page would look like. So you can see there's lots of questions because this is built to be just like the ACT portion, the science portion. And I'm going to go ahead and grade my test now, and I'm going to submit it. It's grading my test for me, and you can see that my score was a 10. So this would be my composite score for the science portion. You'll see that these are my scores by domain, 14, 5, and 1. So these were not the best scores. So I just went through and randomly selected. From this screen, students can go ahead and start working on practice. Next to each of the domains where they score less than 70%, this pink exclamation box will appear. They can click on this and it'll ask them, do you want to work on practice questions? Do you want to look at vocabulary? Do you want to watch a video? And clicking on any of these will take them to resources that will help them with remediation on that domain. While I'm still logged in as a student, I want to show you those resources that are available. So I'm going to choose ACT Math. It's going to take a second to load. Okay, so you'll now see these are all of the standards associated with ACT Mathematics. And so ideally, I would have had my student already have had some exposure to this work so that we would have some of these dots colored to see which standards they need to work on first. But just to show you, you would click on one operation, click on any of these, and you'll see again questions, vocab, performance, task, videos. And as the students work through these 4 components, this progress bar will fill and that dot will change colors based on mastery. So these are some great resources for students to use for self-directed learning. If we return back to our teacher account, as teachers, we can go in and we can also access resources. So I'm going to go to ACT Reading, and you can click on any of these test information boxes when you get to a content. And for just our ACT Reading portion, we have 5,813 questions, 190 technology enhanced items, 92 instructional videos, and 261 vocabulary terms. So we definitely have a large data bank of questions to pull from. So this shows you how the tests are created to match the percentages of each domain for the test. But you can go back to the teacher resources page, and we have online resources, printable resources, and projector-based games that can be utilized in your classroom. So that is my presentation and demo. This is now a chance for you guys to ask any questions you may have. If you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the questions box. If not, you are more than welcome to sign off, and you'll be receiving a copy of this link very shortly. Thank you so much for coming. And I am still here if there are any questions. If not, feel free to sign out.